Hi friends, good morning or afternoon or evening wherever you are or whenever you're watching. I'm Fleur and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk to you about social media usage as a content creator and how I manage being online without going crazy. Sort of. Okay, so why am I making this video? Well, first of all, it was requested and I do want to share with you what my experience is like. I think that it's interesting to now be in the position of a content creator and being more reliant on being relevant online while also just still consuming media and having fun using it. My perspective has changed a lot since I started doing content creation. And I don't know, I just want to talk about it, and maybe if you create content as well and you feel conflicted about what media means to you, what social media means to you, I hope that this video can maybe give you some comfort or inspire you to make some more conscious decisions in how you use your social media. A little bit about me for context, because I think that matters a lot. I am 25 years old. I live in the Netherlands. It's where I grew up. I've lived in this country all my life, and I make English ASMR videos on YouTube. That is my main job. So I do a lot of guided sleep meditations. I talk a lot about mental health, relaxation, and this is just a channel where I have fun with editing and experimenting and doing lifestyle things. Because I make ASMR and I'm not really reliant on influencery things, I might have a bit of a different perspective than what you may expect from a YouTube content creator. I have Instagram, I have a Facebook page, and I have YouTube, and that's kind of my social media. And then in the Netherlands, the main app for communication is WhatsApp. So not iMessage or anything or text, but WhatsApp. I used to have TikTok, but I am not about that, so I deleted that. And generally, I would just say that I have always kind of had a difficult relationship to social media. I, as a person, highly value presence in real life. I really support the idea of slow living, the anti-capitalist view of it all, the the overconsumption that's happening. I feel like the internet and social media has such a big part in that. I have a lot of conflicting feelings about that I don't want to get into too much, but just so that you know kind of the angle that I'm coming from and what my values are as a person, because I think that matters a lot in how I show up online and how I manage being online. It's conflicting because I also really see the value in it, which is obviously why I'm here, because if I was just like, I hate the internet, I would just not be on the internet. It's kind of simple like that because I have free will. But I do like it and I see the value, I see the creativity in it. I love watching what people have created and put their hours into. I love finding community, and that is so easy online to find community to an extent. If you have such a niche hobby, a super niche hobby, it's so easy to find people who are like-minded and who share that hobby and experience. It's much more likely to find them online than offline in your small town. You know what I mean? And I think that that's what makes the internet really beautiful. I think that there's so much information available to us. It's very easy to educate yourself, but then it gets hard because there's way too much of it, and it's hard to discern what is right and pure and what is driven by marketing or, whatever else. And because I really feel the benefits of social media, but I do see the dangers in it, and I see it in my day-to-day, I try to be very mindful of how I use media. And mostly just finding a personal balance in your usage, and being online and offline is so detrimental to our physical and mental health. So yeah, I like to make really conscious decisions in how I use my media. I will say it's an ongoing journey. I use my phone as coping when I have anxiety, and I notice it usually, but sometimes I don't, and I'm still working on that. So take everything I say with a pinch of salt. I also want to note that I used to work as a youth worker. I studied social work, and in my work I also just saw the loneliness in people my age or high schoolers, and the self-comparison that comes with social media, and how much you are fed having to be a certain way in order to be more valuable as a person. And I feel like we've just lost touch with the real world a little bit. That makes me so sad and so mad. I think that that's also why I am so much more passionate about it, and have been more passionate about it over the last couple years, because I've just seen it so much in my personal life, and it's kind of devastating to watch. Anyway, I can't save the world's problems, but I can make a YouTube video about what I do. And so here's what that looks like for me. I'm also going to change my clothes because I have some errands to run, and I think I'm going to take you with me. So one of the first things that comes to mind when I think about my social media usage is how I deal with notifications on my phone. It's also one of the first things that I changed to lower my screen time. I used to get all my notifications on my phone, and if there's one thing that really irks me a lot right now is if I'm at dinner with friends, or I'm hanging out with friends, or I'm in a group conversation, or just a conversation, and someone has their phone on the table, screen facing up. They get a notification. We're talking, they go like this, they're like, and they get back to the conversation. I know that it happens, and it's not weird for that to happen, and if you have important notifications that need to be on, you have to keep them on. But I was in a conversation with the person, and they were with me, and then they completely weren't, and they were somewhere else, and then they had to take a moment to get back to me, while none of us left the room. Do you see where I'm going with this? The thing is, when we get all those notifications on our phone the whole time, it's the same with emails. The amount of times I've opened my email in the grocery store is ridiculous, because it's not that important that it can't wait 10 minutes until I'm home. If I just hadn't grabbed my phone, I would have just done my groceries in peace, would have come home, not thinking about it, and then when I would have the space and time, open my email, then I could deal with it. That way works much better for me. That makes me feel so much better and healthier and present than having my phone notifications and being somewhere, checking, and being completely somewhere else and having my mood shift while I have not even moved any other muscle than my thumb muscle from scrolling. It's kind of like when you are waiting for a friend to meet you, or when you're waiting on the bus, or you are just standing outside the grocery store waiting for your mom to be finished doing the groceries, and you just open your phone because you're bored and you're waiting, and you open Instagram, and suddenly you see your ex, and they're doing fucking amazing. And then you meet your friend, or the bus comes, or your mom is like done doing the groceries. The vibes are just off. You're cranky, you're insecure, you're pissed. And what happened? You opened the rectangle that sits in your pocket all the damn time. Something about that just feels so weird to me, so that's why I like not having notifications. I do still have my notifications on for when I get a phone call or when I do get a text, because, like I said, we don't really text in the Netherlands, we use WhatsApp. So that's more, I don't know, usually when I do get a text or a call, it's a little bit more urgent. And I just prefer that so much more than seeing what the group chat has to say while I'm just out and about doing my things. So honestly, I highly recommend turning off your notifications, just giving it a try, or just maybe even for a couple apps. Something I also did was delete Gmail off my phone, which is the email app that I use. And now I have to be on my laptop to look at emails and to answer emails, and I really like that. Why is this not working? There it is. Okay, because honestly, I am not getting life or death emails unless it's a threat. It depends on the job that you have, of course, how important your emails are to you and how important it is to be reachable throughout your day. I think that everything that I'm saying in this video just kind of comes down to, I don't want to be as reachable as I am with a mobile phone. So like I said, I have all my notifications switched off on my phone except for phone calls. And then I also have some ways that I deal with the social media that I do have and how I try to be mindful of how I use them and when I use them. On Instagram, I started out with a personal page, and then I made a music Instagram in 2016, 2017 or something, because I did a lot of covers and I posted them there. That was just my fun little hobby on the side. And when I got my ASMR channel and it started to grow, I was like, oh, it's kind of nice to have everyone go to that page and not my personal one. On that music page, I was following a lot of people that I knew in my day-to-day. So my page felt pretty chaotic and kind of a mix of my personal and my business Instagram. And so I decided to delete my personal page because I was like, I rarely post on here. There are so many people from high school that I follow that I don't talk to anymore. It also kind of felt weird to me to know what, what Lisa was doing, who I haven't spoken to in 7 years, and like seeing that she's on a vacation somewhere. Like, I don't know, my brain doesn't need that information, you know? I do actually know Elisa from high school, and I wasn't directly talking about her, so Lisa, if you're watching, I wasn't talking about you. I love seeing what you do. So then I had the public Instagram page, right? But I was still following a lot of people that I knew in my day-to-day, and I started having privacy issues with someone harassing me online. That's when I decided that I needed to be incredibly anonymous on the rest of the internet for my own safety, and so I anonymized. Is that a word? I don't know, it's a word now. I anonymized my Facebook page, and I unfollowed everybody that I personally knew off of Instagram, except for creators, because that was relevant to what I was doing online. And that was all right for a while, and then I was like, but now I'm not seeing what my friends are doing on my Instagram. And so I made a personal page again. It's under a different name than my actual name, so it's not for you guys to find, where I can just post about my personal life and share moments with friends. And that has been really nice. And it felt like I had the biggest media cleanse that I could have had, because I used to do this all the time where I would just unfollow a bunch of people, like just clean up my page basically, start fresh. But then I would get into all these dilemmas of, oh, but you know, this person follows me. It's kind of rude if I unfollow them, which it's fucking Instagram, whatever. But I would just always feel guilty about it to an extent and push myself to then delete a bunch of people, and then I would still have other people on my page where I was like, I don't really want you here. So it was kind of nice to just delete the page altogether and then start fresh. That really worked for me. However, I still had the problem of scrolling on Instagram and spending time brain rotting, and social media, it's very simple. I am just happier without it. I feel more confident, I feel more peaceful, I feel more present, so I'm happier without it. But I do still enjoy it. And so what I do now with my Instagram, which is definitely not a method that works for everybody, I open it on my web browser sometimes to look at DMs or answer anything if it's important, but generally I don't really answer a lot of DMs. It's not personal to the person that I'm choosing not to have the conversation with, it's just that I get so overwhelmed. And I feel this really strong urge to keep up with everything, and I can't. So that's kind of what I do with my Instagram now. And then if I want to post, or if I want to be online for a while, I'll just re-download the app every time I post. This is not a method that's working incredibly well for me, because it is quite a hassle, but it makes me a lot more intentional of what I post and when I post, and not having it just simply prevents me from scrolling on Instagram. I had the 15-minute timer, I did it for a long time, but you know, after a while it's just like 15 more minutes, not today, like it didn't really do the thing. And I don't want to pay for an app to restrict all my media usage, because I do believe that I am a grown adult and I should try to do that out of my own free will. That being said, I'm not judging anyone who does that, because I know that it can be a very helpful tool. It's just that I don't want to spend my money on it. So that's me and IG. And let's see what else I can talk to you about notifications. Let me actually grab my phone. I think that that would be kind of useful. I kind of always have it on Do Not Disturb. I try to do that a little bit less, because my dad will try to call me and then, I won't answer. And one time he made a joke that's not sitting right with me. He was like, what if I'm dying on the street and I want to say to you my last words and you don't answer your phone? I love my dad. Call 911. If that happens, you know what I mean? Anyway, I just try to be a little bit more reachable for phone calls, because that's nice. But there are times where I just simply do not want to be disturbed, and so I will keep it on Do Not Disturb. This is my home screen. Picture from a fjord in Norway. I love changing up my home screen and making it fun. On my phone, I have a screen time of 2 minutes. Today I've spent 2 minutes on my iPhone, but because I have a MacBook and it synchronizes, I did have 2.5 hours of screen time in total today. That's kind of nice. This is a good day for me. So don't think that I would have 2 minutes of screen time every day at this hour. Hi, I realized that I didn't talk to you about what my screen time was and what it is now, and what daily habits I try to keep up with in order to limit my screen time. My screen time used to be at around 3 to 4 hours, like on my phone, and I'm now at 1 to 2. On a really good day, it's not even an hour, but if I'm filming content with my phone or I have FaceTime calls. That's what takes up the most time on my phone screen, and I really don't mind that. So that's where I'm at with that. And then with the daily habits, I just try to not be on my phone first hour in the morning and then the last hour before I go to bed. Just your standard things, but I didn't mention them and they do deserve a place. We're all just trying our best out here. Okay, bye. This is my screen. This is it. I do have the like swipe to the side and you get a bunch of different apps, but I try to stay here. So I have my screen time because I love being held accountable. I have Aura, which is a meditation app that I use, and when you click here, you'll immediately get a meditation, and I kind of like how their algorithm works because it's really well personalized to my liking. So pretty much every time I click it, I will get a meditation that I enjoy. I usually do yoga nidra before I go to sleep or guided sleep meditation. So I have my notes app where I keep all my darkest secrets and grocery lists. I have a financial app. I have my photos, my camera, my calendar, my settings, Google Maps. 9292 is like a public transport app, so you can see what time the train goes, etc. Weather, clock, health, YouTube. And then WhatsApp, phone call, Safari, Spotify. And then if you swipe, you get all the other apps that I do sometimes go to, but this is what I find important to have on my phone. I've tried a bunch of times to switch to a flip phone or something, but what I love about having a smartphone and why I wouldn't want to not have a smartphone is first of all the camera, because I love capturing moments. I love having a notes app where I can just put my thoughts down if I don't have pen and paper on me. I love being able to check my bank account. Photo app because I live in the past. My calendar because it's relevant for planning things on the go. Settings might not be as important to have on my homepage, but you would be surprised how often I open the settings of my phone. Google Maps, one of the main reasons why I wanted to keep my phone, because I just don't really like the idea of getting lost. And yes, I can ask people, but if I'm in the car, I love knowing where I'm headed. And then the public transport app for that same reason. And then my health, because I track my period on the app and my migraines and stuff, so I like having that there. And then I have YouTube. As you can probably see, if you're a content creator, there's a YouTube Studio app where you can see all your stats, and I don't have it on my phone. And that is because I have such a bad habit of checking comments all the time. It's kind of a replacement from scrolling on Instagram or opening my emails or whatever. It's just this compulsory thing that I do, is just checking things. That is something that I'm really working on, but I just really try to not have apps that allow me to do that on my phone. So that's why I'm really excited to not have Studio app, because I have to be on my laptop. I'm on my laptop quite a lot because I edit these videos and I'm planning things and blah blah blah. It feels like a much more mindful practice to be on my laptop. Like, it's much more of a thing. I light a candle when I start work to indicate that work has started, and then I check my things, and that makes me feel a lot more sane. So yeah, that's kind of how I manage my phone. It might seem really boring, but I've never really had games on my phone. I've never been really into that. And I have my WhatsApp, and like I said, I have my notifications off. And so once I open the chat, I see what has come in, and then there's this thing where you can also just see your unread messages, so you know what you still have to reply to. Yeah, that's kind of how I try to limit my screen time on my phone, but the thing is, like, I'm a sucker for short form content. I hate it that I am, but I am. And so if I do open YouTube, I'll get sucked into shorts either way. So I also have phases where I don't even have YouTube on my phone, because I can watch videos on my laptop. It's not necessary to have it on the go. Worst case, I want to show someone something and I can go on my web browser and show them something, or I can ask to use their phone to do it. But I don't know, there are just a lot of things that we do with our phones and our media usage that we make really important that just simply aren't. And I'm really trying to reprioritize what is important to me in how I use my phone and when I pull it out. Fit check.
Martha came from off the farm, ran right up, jumped in my arms. I said, "You're coming home with me today." Martha, you're the sweetest girl, an angel sent down to this world. I love you more than words could ever say. Every day is a new beginning, Life is just a game you're winning every time you look an open door. So run right out, chase the sunlight, nothing left to do but to right. Martha, you're the one my heart beats for. Martha, my darling, your name I keep calling. Heartaches forgotten when you lie with me. Down in the holler, in mansion or squalor, Martha, where you are is where I'll be.
Cheers. Oh, that's hot.
Okay.
So I've talked to you about my views, about how I use my phone, how I restrict myself on Instagram and on various apps, but we have not talked about how to fill up your time so that you won't get the urge to look on your phone. So this is very different for everybody because I think that the way that you use your phone really goes hand in hand with how you live your life and what your life looks like, especially your social life, your work life. And for me as a content creator, of course, I spend a lot of time on media because it is my job. I don't have coworkers, I do this on my own. I have management who I talk to, but we also talk through social media a lot, or at least through our phones. And so I have a lot less in-person contact with people around me if I'm not actively looking it up. So that's why I started volunteering at a thrift store 2 mornings a week just to get myself out of the house and back into a social life. And I do live with my parents, so I see them every day. If I'm not looking up my friends and going to the city to see them, I'm not catching up with my friends unless I'm on my phone. And so that's where it does get difficult to manage. You know, there's a time and space to use your phone and social media and everything. What I want to talk about is those moments where you have a lot of gaps, where you could be doing a bunch of things, but you end up doom scrolling. That's something that I've caught myself doing so many times. And I think that the best advice that I would have is to find a hobby. If you couldn't tell, I have a couple hobbies. I'm definitely a hobby person. It's always been part of my being. I used to draw a lot. I sing, I make music, I play the guitar. I love learning. I obviously love making videos, so I love playing around with cameras and microphones. And like I went on that walk, but I was filming on the walk. You know what I mean? So I have ways to express myself creatively. I'm starting to learn how to sew. Currently making a dress. It's turning out very ugly. I don't want to talk about it, but at least I'm doing it. And it's nice to be busy with something that isn't something online. Like I can play The Sims or I can edit my videos, which is also something that I find very fun, but having something offline is so crucial. So maybe for you it's going to the gym, maybe you build Legos, maybe you like going for really long walks, maybe you read a lot. Whatever it is and whatever works for you, that's something I think to really hold on to and to use to your advantage if you want to limit your screen time. So if you already are a reader, hone in on that, kind of like habit stack, put your book on top of your phone on your nightstand so you'd be much more inclined to grab your book before you would grab your phone. You kind of have to gaslight yourself into doing different things sometimes. I mean, I know that we all have a really short attention span and that's really something that we could probably all work on. But it's the same as like when you're cleaning your house or you're going for that walk, not bringing your phone or not listening to music or a podcast and just creating more moments where you can be quiet, or when you are doing a creative project, not having anything in the background. And I swear to you, the more that you try to focus on one task at a time without the distractions, the better your attention span will become. And eventually, hopefully that will help you to not grab your phone all the time. Especially if you already like did the no notifications or anything, you're much less inclined to just grab it because it's not lighting up around you. That was something that really bothered me before I switched them off. It's just that my phone would light up. I would like know where it is at all times, and when I would hear something vibrate, I'd be like, oh my god, is that my phone? And that happens a lot less now. I feel like having a hobby that is creative, so making music, learning an instrument, sewing, crocheting, reading, it's like a very playful way to handcuff yourself away from your phone, basically, because you can't be on your phone and do the thing at the same time. So 2 for 1 deal, because you are doing something that is productive. It will give you dopamine the same way that your phone will do. It's just like delayed gratification probably. You are working on a skill, you're learning something new, you're exploring, you're connected to your body because you're physically doing something, and you're not on social media. What more could you want, you know? Maybe this is such incredibly standard advice and you're like, shut up, I already have hobbies, whatever. I just hope that this could be maybe re-inspiring or can light up that spark within you. If you have that project that you've been putting off that you want to get to, you probably have a lot more time than you think if you take away the screen time. Like, this is not going to apply to everybody. You know, like I said, we make a lot of things really important that are on our phone and that are asking for our attention, while in reality, if you put it in a chart, how important is it really? One time I did a journaling exercise and it was like, write down your top 6 priorities in a list. And you can make it creative, you can make it visually appealing, whatever you like, go crazy. And then rate it 1 to 6. Where is it on your priority list? And then write a number behind it of what number priority you would want it to have. And that was so confronting for me because I was putting things so high up my list that weren't important, but that was just because I was having a lot of anxiety and procrastinating a lot and wasting time being on my phone instead of living my life. So I'm trying to think of things that I have to say or have to add to this, but honestly, I feel like I've covered all the things that I wanted to cover. I think that the most important thing is to give yourself some grace. You are going against machines that were made to keep you there, but there are things that we can do to make it better for ourselves. And I do not encourage anyone to go into victim mode on it, because you do have free will, you are your own person, and you are the only one to be held responsible for your actions and behaviors. If you want to limit your screen time, be on social media less, or have a different approach, I would really try to turn inward and think about why you are doing certain things and what your intention is behind it, because intention is always the most important thing, I believe. If you're a content creator and you're posting a lot on your stories, but you kind of don't want to be on Instagram, try to think to yourself why you are posting. Is it because you really want to share, or is it because you feel like you have to stay relevant or to gather income, or is it because you are truly enjoying the process? And you know, both things can be true at the same time, but try to think of your intention and think about your health and your well-being first before you think about your work and your income and your popularity online, because at the end of the day, you walk yourself home and your well-being is the most important thing. If social media and being on your phone is not a friend to you right now, then it's no reason to stay this close in that friendship, and it's time to take a little bit of distance probably. There's a lot of nuance, you know, and to keep in mind. But I think that being out in the real world is so much more valuable, and especially if you create online content, you spend a lot of time on your own and on media. I would just highly encourage you to step out a bit more. I honestly think it doesn't really matter if you make content and you spend a lot of time online as your job, or if you are a student and outside of that you spend a lot of time scrolling and you're on Pinterest and whatever else. The internet will always just be a constant stream of content that A, you can never keep up with, and B, will always try to change you. The point is that you do not need to be changed, and there's nothing you need that will increase your value as a person. You do not need that new bag that is trending. You do not need that new top that is trending. You don't need the better camera to be a better content creator. You don't need the fancy guitar. You don't need a vacation in Dubai to be more valuable as a person. None of that says anything about what you bring to the table. I don't know, I'm going off on a whole tangent again, and I don't really want to. I feel like if you guys have any more questions, or you want me to keep the conversation going about this, or you have video ideas, just let me know in the comments and we'll work from there. I just feel like this is kind of the baseline for me on what I wanted to share about media right now. I think also just the world is in a very scary place, and there's a lot of negativity and heaviness. Being offline and focusing on your in-person community and trying to focus on the positive. So how can I take action? How can I be present here? Who can I help directly? Is so much more important than feeding yourself on information about everything that is happening everywhere, because you can't change the world's problems even if you want to. You can't change every aspect of yourself. It's not going to help you. Having as much time away from our screens is a very, very healthy thing to do. Let it be a tool, let it be of service to you instead of the other way around. And be careful with your personal information and data online, please. Be respectful to each other and respect your own boundaries. I think that that's everything that I want to say. I hope that you enjoyed. Definitely let me know your thoughts in the comments, because I feel like it was kind of all over the place. Like I said, I would love to talk more about this. I'm very passionate about the topic. I really enjoyed hanging out with you. I'm sending you all my love, and I will gladly see you in my next video. Here's a forehead kiss. Bye.